What's going on, Port fans? Welcome back to another video on my channel, and today we're going to be reviewing Port Adelaide's round 23 and final game for 2019. Port got the job done by 43 points against the Fremantle side, who were coached by interim coach David Hale, and it was a game of, well, simply it was a dead rubber in the end, with the Crows unfortunately, for our sake, losing to the Dogs, and Hawthorn beating West Coast. So we finished 10th to finish off 2019, but it was a positive finish to what has been a pretty inconsistent, topsy-turvy year. One that Port fans won't really be happy with, but there has been some upside. And let's just go through the game and see exactly how it panned out and what's to look forward to come the pre-season of 2020. Now bear with me, I'm a little bit sick, so if I sound weird or can't speak English, that is the reason why. But let's get into this game first and foremost. It was a good response from Port Adelaide after what was a pretty dismal and disgusting display against North Melbourne. We simply had to respond for really just our own personal pride, and you got to do that for your fans. You got to do that for yourselves, especially, and as players, they did that really well. It was a pretty slow start for Port against the Dockers. We did kick the first goal, and they sort of had a bit of momentum, and we just weren't capitalising on inside 50s. Something that's been a tale of 2019, and then we're letting five off the leash a little bit, and they were just controlling the play. But then after quarter time, Port Adelaide essentially ran away with it. They didn't let Fremantle kick a goal until like the 20th minute mark of the third quarter. After that, and from there, Port Adelaide, they showed the reason why they were a far better side, with the likes of Ollie Wines leading the way as a captain. Tom Jonas down back was setting some great examples with pressure acts. Justin Westhoff led the way up forward with Charlie Dixon. They were just simply superb as big men, and the leaders really stood up. Boak was a bit quiet early, but his second half was sensational. He had like 14 possessions and kicked a goal. He was just, just tops off his sensational year. You had the likes of Willem Drew comes into the side, and really impressed with him. 20-odd disposals, has 8 tackles. Houston in the middle was once again brilliant. TBJ responded after his game against North, and it was just a response from a team that essentially, for their own well-being, needed to respond. They needed to, forget the week before. It's sort of like that in the moment type situation where you accept the fact that you're not going to play finals, but you're playing great footy. Well, not great footy, but you're giving yourself a good enough opportunity to respond from a performance like it was against North, and Port Adelaide did that. And I think for the fans, for somewhat, it was compensation, in a sense that we got that response. We got the satisfaction of winning a game of football that we should have won, and the game against North cost us our season. There's plenty of other games during the year that did cost us our season. I think, most notably GWS. If we win the GWS game, we're playing finals. We're playing against West Coast over there in Perth on a Thursday night. It's just these little things, that add up, and unfortunately we couldn't do the little things right. We did that on the weekend against the Dockers, and I left the ground thinking there's hope for next year. I don't know what it is about Port Adelaide, but you get so frustrated and so angry with them. But then you look at them, you look at the players walking off, and you don't smile, but you grin. You just think in yourself, you know what, we've got a pretty special team. We're not doing anything with it. But you just get the feeling that something is going to happen. Something is going to burst. And these seasons of disappointment and dissatisfaction, inconsistency, are they leading to something? And I think, who knows what 2020 could be. And there's always that optimism as a Port fan. You don't want to express it, externally, but internally you always feel like there's something that's going to happen. And we did that. Well, not we did that, but we're going to show that, I think. Most of you would have heard the news by now, but Ken Hinkley is staying on as coach in 2020. So all the calls for him to be sacked, fans, the disappointment. Some fans will be disappointed. And look, there's a part of me that essentially wanted him to go, because you just get so caught up in the emotion and the fact that you just have had enough of the same performance and same inconsistent output every single week. But at the same time, I'm sort of glad he's staying in a way, because sometimes change doesn't bring something that we want. Change is definitely a necessary factor, but you don't go changing the major. I don't know how to put it, but you don't change something that's pretty consistent. I always use Richmond and Collingwood as an example. Nathan Buckley, Dimmer, they stuck with it in seasons that they weren't as good, and we've done that with Ken, and I feel like we might get some sort of reward from that. We obviously got a prelim, we got a semi-final in 2013. We haven't won a final in 5 years, and that's definitely a major stat that I hope the board did look at when making this decision. And look, financially, that would be another factor coming in, and with that game on the weekend, you sensed the boys are still there. They're still with Ken. They still believe in what he's bringing, what they're about. And I did like what he said after the game, how he has a major belief in the group. So does the coaching group. They all have a belief in each other. TJ came out and said that at the end of last year, the group was sort of broken in a sense, that there wasn't that belief there. And then they've come in 2019. They're a stronger bond. There's a real culture, a real satisfaction in the group, and they might be disappointed with their output on a weekly basis or every second week, but they're tight. And I think, sometimes the inconsistencies come from having a young group. They come from having injuries, and I feel like that might have been the case this year. I don't feel like there's always that game plan. There's always that motivational factor in your head. That will give people a sense of, am I actually going to put this out 2 weeks in a row? And look, we didn't do that enough. And I think, the main point is Ken staying on. I don't know. It gives that reassurance of we're still on this path and we may do it. And some people will disagree with that, and that's entitled to your opinion. You completely... Look, I probably agree with you. But at the same time, I'm not in the middle. If I was the board, I probably would have kept Ken. If that's what you're looking for as an answer, I would have kept Ken on another year. You hear certain things that, maybe some players don't like him. Maybe some players, you never really no one ever gets along with their coach as best friends. He's like your boss. And look, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. That's just the way with Port Adelaide. As I did say, there was still plenty of positives. And you look at the weekend, back to the game, you still got the likes of Connor Rozee, Xavier Dersma putting out great performances. Travis Boakes has been sensational. And the main positive for me was seeing Charlie Dixon taking marks. He might have been against a pretty young defender. He's taking marks, he's having set shots, didn't kick all of them, but there was that real aggression about Charlie that really made me smile. And the best part about it was when he just kept pushing his opponent off him. That was I love that. That's the aggression that we want to see Charlie have. And he was taking the P155 on the wing in the last quarter where he shrugged off his opponent and starts taking a bounce and then kicks it on the left foot. I thought it was great, and vintage Charlie with his aggression is sensational, and I hope he brings that next year and gets a full pre-season under his belt. Speaking of players and votes, I'm going to go into the votes now, and for the final time for the pair low. Look, it's coming back this year. The pair low is coming back. 1 vote goes to Charlie Dixon, as I mentioned before. 16 touches, 8 marks, kicked 3 goals too. Thought his presence up forward was immense. 2 votes goes to Justin Westhoff. 2 goals, had 20-odd possessions, and was just, playing his Westhoff role, doing Westhoff things, and he did a really good job. And 3 votes goes to co-captain Ollie Wines. I thought he went out with a point to prove on the weekend. He did that point, and I really feel that he's really unhappy with his season. And look, some of us as fans will be as well, but we can't discredit the fact that Ollie will always come out and try. And I think he'll have a big off-season, and I really feel like he'll bounce back. And who knows, if we have co-captains or not, if we go single captain, I know he'll try his absolute best to put out a performance like he did on the weekend on a consistent basis. So 3 votes, Ollie Wines, well deserved. Thanks, Port fans, very much for watching this round 23 and the final preview of the year. It's been a pretty roller coaster ride for us doing these reviews every single week. So thank you very much for your output in the comments section. It's been so much fun riding the motions with you all, and look forward to bringing some content over the off season, which is going to be very interesting. It's going to be very passionate off season. I feel we're going to have a big build up to 2020 to 150 years. I've got so much planned for the channel and for some other things that I hope you guys will enjoy. But if there is anything you'd like to see over this off season, put it in the comments below. I'll probably make it, to be honest, because we've got 208 days to make up, which is sad. Thanks for watching, Port fans. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're new for plenty more Port Adelaide content coming to you this off season. My name is Anthony, and as always, for one final time,